Now I'm gonna.
I like the password, love. I like that.
Yeah, and now we're recording now, so this is gonna go onto YouTube, so live now.
Awesome.
Whatever we say is being recorded. I'm gonna upload it like this. So
Awesome.
yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, you're gonna work today. I know that. It's gonna be fine. Let's see if I'm speaking words in existence. Yes, yes. I'm just going to put title to GC, CG. Oops, I'm going to tag you now, Jean Laguerre. Good. All right. Enjoy.
Terrific.
All right, so we're going to go live now. You ready?
Ready to go.
Okay.
The tag just appeared in my notifications.
Okay, good. Yes, and I heard it as well. So, good afternoon, Jean. May I call you Jean?
Yes, John's perfect. Good afternoon, Cicely.
So nice to see you. I'm just,
Always a pleasure.
yes, so let's have a conversation. And we're going to talk about many things. As I said, these discussions are going to be around personal, business, family. So, Jean, why don't we start? You just tell us a little bit about you, where you are, what you do, and wherever you want to start. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I'm in the health and fitness industry. I've been doing that for about 30 years, and I'm also a father of three. I'm married 31 years, and I've written a book called The Art of the Rep, which is available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone else, or everyone has been affected by this pandemic crisis, I've been out of work for the past several months, and it's just been a good fortune that my wife is still working,
Well, that's
and
good.
we're managing as a family to still keep things flowing, and keep food in the fridge and try to pay our bills like everybody else. So
That's it. That's it.
exactly, we want this
Right.
thing to be behind us.
So, John, let's start from the very beginning. When I say beginning in regards to what you do, you have been a fitness champion. I'd say a bodybuilding champion. So have won awards and trophies and stuff like that. So let's hear about where you started and why you've gone into fitness.
Well, that journey was something that I just really embraced. I mean, growing up in the 70s, before internet and cell phones and cable television, I was in a cave.
You was in a cave.
I know, right? Athletics was big in my community. All of my friends played sports, whether it was track or basketball or football. So in high school, I was on the football team, the handball team, the wrestling team. So once I discovered bodybuilding from lifting weights for football, I pretty much fell in love with it. This is going back 1979. I was 16 at the time, and then when I found out that they had teenage competitions, I decided that I would compete as a teenager and see how I fared at it. Being a avid reader of comic books and looking at all of these drawings of comic book heroes with these exceptional physiques, I was like, wow, if I
I
can
want to be like that.
I could build a body like that, that'd be crazy. So
Right.
when I started looking at bodybuilding magazines, I found out there were actual men that had bodies that looked like the comic book heroes. So
Mm,
I was completely on board to wanting to build, you know, an exceptional physique. So and be a champion. So when I
okay.
entered my first competition in 1980, it was Teenage New York City where I placed second, which was great because I trained at home. You know, I trained in a very basic weight set
Mm-hmm.
in my garage, and to have done so exceptionally, you know, not having any prior experience in doing this, it was a great start. And then 6 months later, my senior year of high school, I won my first competition, and within 4 years, I won 13 championships, and I was in 5 magazines, and I went on to compete for 25 years and won a total of 23 championships and 2 national titles. I was 11th in the world, top 10 in the universe 3 times, top 3 internationally twice, and won my last 2 competitions at 41 years old. And I built a personal training business along the way and wrote a book. And my biggest accomplishment, other than my family, was having done it without drugs when people said that it couldn't be
Right.
done. So,
Right.
you know, for me now at 57 years old, I've been involved in it for over 41 years. And now my goal is to really teach, inspire, and educate people on how to optimize their fitness and turn it into a way of life. So
Mm,
after
great.
40, after 40, over 50, over 60, over 70, you can live a life that's healthy, that's fit, that's strong. You don't have to be, you know, have high blood pressure, have diabetes. You don't have to be on
Right.
medication. You know, you can have a strong, fit, healthy body, you know, as you're aging and slow the aging process. So my
Mhm.
goal is to be that example and to educate others on how to do it for themselves.
Mm, excellent. So, what you did, you brought back a very dear memory to me. And my godfather was a bodybuilder, and he lived, I think it's in Brooklyn or Queens or somewhere, but he used to do that. And I remember that. He, in fact, gave me my name, Cicely.
Wow, beautiful.
A beautiful memory for me. And I was apparently named after, he wasn't married at the time, but I was named after his girlfriend.
Okay, nice,
Yeah, so that brought that very dear memory back for me. So,
beautiful.
John, I think so. So, tell us the process, how it happened, what sort of regimen you had to do, how committed, how dedicated, the ups and downs. Let's talk about that in regards to the journey of being a bodybuilder.
Okay, well, you know, like everything, it requires a lot of self-discipline, and you have to be very, very motivated. And for me, the beginning of the journey, you know, I committed 6 days a week to training. I trained for 4.5 hours a day. You know, I was very committed. But again, when you start as a kid, that's easy. You know, there's no wife, there's no children, there's no mortgage, there's no major responsibilities. So if I wanted to spend the majority of my time training, then I was free to do so. So that's what enabled me to be so successful in a very short time. I mean, to win 13 championships in only 4 years of
Mm,
competition while training at home is not, it's not a common achievement in such a short period, but I gave it a whole lot. And then as I started getting older, I was married at 26, and by then my training was already down to 4 days a week, about 2.5 hours a day. You know, so what I tell people all the time is that anytime you learn a skill and you become masterful of it, your goal is to become more efficient. So in the beginning, you need more volume because you're still fine tuning, you know, your ability to do it well. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. But as you get older and your body is aging, and you can't put in 6 days a week because you don't have the recovery,
right.
and at the same time your time is more involved. You know, wife, family, you work 6 days a week, so your time is spread out. So you don't have
Sure.
the luxury of being able to just focus on training and nothing else. But
Mhm.
at that time, I was, because I had such a strong foundation, I was very efficient. So in my 20s, I used to compete against men 12 years older than me and more, and I was able to defeat them while I was in my early 20s.
Hmm.
And then by the time I turned professional, I was already in my 30s, and I was 37 years old, and I was beating 23-year-olds. So when you do something so long, you get to experience it at both ends of the spectrum. You get to be
Sure.
the young guy beating the older guys, and all of a sudden you find yourself the older guy fending off the younger guys. So I got to experience success on both ends. But
Hmm.
again, the longevity of my career and working hard to be very masterful of it and very efficient. I've found a way to really maximize the training process. To get maximum gains and progress without a lot of wasteful effort or effort that could possibly put you at risk to getting injured. And this is the thing that
Yes.
people have to learn about exercise, especially when you're older, because you don't want to be in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you're trying to work out, and you do things the wrong way, and you get injured.
Right.
Avoid injury, and you have to understand your body's strengths and weaknesses, and optimize how well you do these exercises so you can get the most benefit while having the least amount of risk, towards a potential injury.
Hmm. So what I'm hearing from you, Jean, is that you were being mindful in every aspect of to be mindful. And so you know where your limits were. And so you didn't go beyond that. You know what you could and you couldn't do. And it's very important to be intuitive in regards to, all right, am I at that point where I just need to step back? Can I go just a little bit forward, but just be careful, just be, I don't like to use that word, so I'll take it away. But again, being mindful in regards to how, what, where, and when. And a lot of the time, we don't follow our intuition. We tend to want to go into conflict because the first thought is typically the right thought. And so we should try to go with that, Jean. It's important. What would you say to somebody who might want to go into the bodybuilding aspect of things?
Well, again, it depends on how old the person is and what is their level of current fitness, being able to basically assess themselves. But, you know, you have to start slow. Too many times, as we get older, we kind of discourage ourselves from wanting to exercise because if it's been 20 years, you haven't exercised, or it's been longer, and you've gained a lot of weight, you feel like your body is in a broken state.
Mm,
You try to tell yourself, oh, you know what, it's too late for me. I'm old now. I can
right.
just possibly want to work out. It's going to be too hard. It's like we want to talk ourselves out of it before we even get started. And the thing that I try to tell people all the time, we each have a unique individual body. You don't want to look at what someone else is able to do and say, okay, why can't I do that?
Mhm.
You have to assess what is your body's present ability. If you get
Correct.
on the ground and you tell yourself, oh, back when I was in high school and college, I could do like, 30 to 50 push-ups like nothing. And meanwhile,
Right.
it's been over 20 years, you haven't even done a push-up. So now let's say you get on the ground and you find out you can't do 10 push-ups. Maybe you've only done 6, and your arms hurt, your shoulders hurt, your core hurts. And now that's the reality. You say, oh, wow, I went from 50, now I'm barely doing 5, so okay, it's okay. That's
Mhm.
5 more than you might have not been able to do. Maybe you could have got down there and couldn't do 1.
Right.
So the fact that you did 5 and embrace that and be in a positive mindset. Because to me, as we talked about, the word love is the password today.
Yeah.
Self-love is an important thing. And to me, when you exercise, you have to look at your body from a perspective of love. And you got to say to yourself, you know what? I'm not exercising to compete with somebody else or to set unrealistic goals. I'm exercising because I love myself, I care about myself, and I want to take care of this body. I want to take care, I want to make it function to the best
Right.
that it can and be as healthy as I can be. And whatever manner that my body is going to progress, I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to have gratitude. I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm not going to scold my body and tell my body, you suck. I thought you was so much better. I'm embarrassed to have such a broken body. Don't be negative about it. Show your body that love and that care. And before you know it, if you're telling your body, you know what, you did 5 push-ups, that's great. And your body's like, you're not disappointed. You're like, no, this is where we're starting. Before you know it, you'll do 10. And your body's like, you think so? And they're like, yes. And then, you're being in that positive mindset. And then all of a sudden, your body feels the love and the care. And all of a
That's
sudden,
it.
it
How
wants to
beautifully
do its
said.
best because it doesn't feel like you're disappointed or you're scolding it. And that positive mindset is everything. Once every workout, it doesn't matter what you've done, it's another workout that you've done that you couldn't have done. So don't be overly judgmental of yourself. As long as you put yourself in that state of mind to embrace the journey, to enjoy it, and to make progress at whatever rate your body is comfortable making it, then inevitably you're gonna come to your goal. And I think that's important.
Very well said. And I like the fact that you said, take care of my body, love my body, gratitude. Because yeah, we have to do all those things because the body that we have the good fortune of being able to be in this body and to be speaking as we are right now, to be interacting with family members and others and just being able to do things. So we do have to honor the body. Body is very precious and we do have to love it. We have to love
Absolutely.
ourselves. Yeah, we have to love ourselves. So all those things are very important in regards to how we live our lives. As I like to say, we live our best lives. So that's important. What do you do in all of this that's happening right now? I don't like to get into what they're calling it, names or whatever. I don't. How are you coping in regards to your personally, how you're coping and how you're doing with your family? And you just share whatever you're comfortable with. But I think it's important. I think people want to hear how others are doing because there's that sort of commonality. Oh, wow, they're doing this, or you might be doing something that might be helpful for them, or you might be experiencing something that someone else is experiencing. So just go into that a little bit.
Well, one of the things that I've been saying, because obviously we're all in new territory, we've never faced anything like this ever, so to be under this level of lockdown and to not be free to basically do what was normal to us before this situation occurred, it's a very tough adjustment, so one of the things that has worked well for me is I've said it to a few friends, anything that uplifts you, that puts a smile on your face, that lifts your spirit, that makes you feel happy, you should do. And I'm fortunate that I happen to have a fully equipped gym at home, which I've always had one. So my training is not affected, by the gym. But anything that you do that makes you feel happy, that brings joy to you, you should do. Just like it's springtime, I always like to plant flowers. I mean, people see a big, strong guy and they don't think that, there's other sides to you. We all have layers,
I
But
like that.
I love gardening, I love planting flowers, and I love looking at the beauty of the flowers that I plant grow throughout the season of the spring and the summer. So at the time when it was gardening seasons, so to speak, I told myself, I'm not going to let what's going on stop me from doing the norm of what I normally do. So I went
Excellent.
to Home Depot and I bought some flowers and I planted them and I groomed my lawn and I cut and I pruned and I raked and I got assisted by my 3 sons and everything looks very green and very beautiful. The flowers are growing, and every time I step out of the house and I look at the flowers, it puts a smile on my face because I'm like, look at these beautiful flowers, look at these colors, and it's like too many times people get into a sad state and then they want to allow what's going on disrupt them too extensively. And then by doing that, depression sets in. And that's one of
Yes.
those things, you have to fight that, just like my church, like most churches, are shut down, but they have a live stream, every morning at 9:30. So when they started doing that, I would sit down and I would look at I would, watch the service and feel like I'm in church, so to speak. And it's something that was very normal for me, because until they started doing it, it was almost 2 months that I wasn't able to attend service, which for me was like, I can't even remember the last period in my life when I didn't attend church for that long, So it was great just to be able to have that option, So any option that you have that is something that makes you feel good, you have to do. And most of us are very spiritual. We pray, we have faith, so you have to hold on to that faith more than ever, to keep your spirits up. And then,
Yes.
those of us that have families at home, spend time with your wife or your husband or with your kids, and, interact. And I like to look at motivational videos. I like to
Good.
study things. I'm taking a few different courses online on marketing and online business. Because my
Excellent.
goal now is to get my personal training business online. So
Excellent.
I'm working on, learning all the ins and outs of how to go about doing that. So you got to pretty much keep yourself busy. Don't, that time that you would be at work, now that, it's affected you in that way, don't allow yourself to just sit in your bed and be
Right.
bored, and you're just eating and you're depressed. Don't allow your life to be disrupted. Think of it from the perspective of everything that you normally would do when you're not at work, all the things that you enjoy doing, and focus on doing those things. And then if you have to add a few new things into the routine to make up more of the time, then do so. Start learning something, start studying something. I mean, there's so many courses we
Right.
can learn online, like even like how many of the schools after shutdown, they were still doing classes online so the students wouldn't fall behind. So we have options, just like you and I now are, we're
Right.
having this moment together because of the technology that's available. And it's special. The last time you and I met in person, I was at your studio and we did a live interview. Now we're doing another interview, but we're doing it on Zoom. So there's options available. So we have to utilize those options to the best of our advantage and keep ourselves in a positive mind, body, and spirit.
That's right.
So by doing that, we're gonna get through this.
Excellent. Beautifully said. You
Thank
talked
you.
about your business. That was a good point. Tell us about your business, what you do, and how one could reach you, Jean. That's very important at this time.
I'm very heavily into social media on Instagram. My page is Mr. Natural USA. I have a page on Facebook, which is Naturally Fit. And I'm also on Twitter as Gene Natural, but my Instagram and my Facebook page are the most active. So you'll see videos of me speaking and speaking about training, and even videos of my family working out, whether it's my wife or my son. So anyone who's interested in learning more about training, you could reach out to me through my social media pages, and I also have my book available on Amazon, The Art of the Rep. So, like I said, don't allow this to be a moment of despair and for you to give up hope. Stay positive, stay focused, do something, that uplifts you. And rather than be one of those people that when this is over, they're going to come out of it saying, oh my goodness, I gained like 30 to 50 pounds. I feel terrible. I look like crap. Be one of those people that's going to say, you know what? I was exercising. I took care of myself. I didn't overeat. I feel great. And now I'm ready to move forward with my life and be happy. Don't let this, what's going on right now, allow you to gravitate into a negative state and then poor self-image and start looking at yourself and want to cover all your mirrors.
I was going to say, put a padlock on the fridge and
I know, right?
right?
throw the scale out, never getting on it again.
Well, you know, Jean, I'm actually fortunate because I lost a lot of weight.
Oh boy, see, there you go. There you go.
Some people haven't even recognized me because I've got a lot small. I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm
You
just
know,
so glad
I'm
about
looking
that.
at your face, and I can see your face looks a little bit leaner since the
Smaller,
last time we
yeah.
saw each other.
Smaller, yeah.
That's
And even
great.
here, you can see like my collarbone and everything.
Uh-oh, look out, like those models, you know, with the collarbone showing.
So I'm really
Very
trying to pay
nice.
attention. I'm really trying to maintain that because I feel, as I was listening to you speaking about being fit, I feel my agility. I can move, I can jump, I can run, I can squat, I can do things. Whereas when I was carrying that weight, it was hard for me to do.
Right,
And,
right.
I'm glad that it all worked out just as this old lockdown was happening because I would not have liked to put on weight on my weight that I had prior to wasn't good.
Correct.
And then
Yeah,
it sends your levels off, you know, like my cholesterol was a little high and stuff like that. So
good for
I
you.
know that once with this weight loss, it will bring things down
Oh
and
yeah.
some natural things to also manage it and make sure that I'm okay. So it's important. So as you were talking, I was saying, yeah, thank goodness I don't have to, and just be mindful about what I'm eating a good balanced meal, and eating regularly at certain intervals. But anyway, um, so tell us about your family, how you're doing with your family, and because I know you had mentioned about your son is in the church. He does something with the church or something.
Yes, my youngest son is an assistant music
Oh,
director at our local church. He sings and plays piano, and he's also the music director of a church in Brooklyn.
hmm,
So the live stream, he's playing and singing. That's St. Clair's Church, which is in Rosedale, Queens. So they have a service which is also on Facebook. It's 9:30 every morning, and then on Sundays it's at 10:30.
very
So
lovely.
it's been very good. And my oldest son has a few clients that he's working with online. He's also a fitness coach, and so he's been able to continue doing that. My middle son does marketing, so he's been helping me with the transition of working on
Excellent.
my online business. And my wife happens to be an essential worker, so she works for Chase. She's a
Mm,
banker, so she's still out there working,
hmm,
and being careful, and like all the essential workers out there. So I'm just very
right.
thankful and grateful that she's well, and she's able to still work, and every day she
Yes.
comes home, she's fine, and I keep praying for that every day.
That's beautiful. I keep praying for that every day. That's a right capture. I keep praying for that every day. And that what will keep you and your entire family well. Somebody earlier sent me a message about, because I sent her a message about certain guidelines in regards to when we move forward as things begin to open up. And it was all sort of a confirmation for me, just things that I'm already doing and how I'm going to do when things begin to open up. And
Right.
she said, you know, the only thing is people are not going to follow it. I said, listen, just pay attention to you and what you do and your creation. When I say creation, your wife and your family, that's your creation. And so as
Right.
long as you just cover them with your prayers or your positive thoughts, as you mentioned earlier, and just know that they'll be okay. Just keep that. Then everything will be all right. Don't worry about whether someone's going to do or not going to do. You
Exactly.
have to do the best thing and live your best life,
That's
and
it.
just cover yourself and cover your family, and everything will be just fine.
That's it.
That's
Too
it.
many times we get overly concerned by outside forces and things
Can't
that are
change
not
that.
within our control. If something is not in your control, you can't be overly concerned about it. You have to do all
Absolutely
the
correct.
things that are within your control, the things that are right there for you, rather than go into a panic about what somebody else is not doing. And again, the news is good, it's informative. I mean, we have to know what's going on and be current, but I don't get oversaturated with it because I can't get into that mindset
Exactly.
of being depressed, about you hear like another 100 people died and this and that. It's
Can't
like
get
I
sucked
can't
in.
I can't keep taking that in every day like that, because there's a point where it's too much and you just need to hear something a lot more positive going on. You know, you want to hear about the good things. That's why I always say, you know, unfortunately we live somewhere where the news covers more bad than good, and there's good happening, but why don't we get to hear about it? Why can't it be 50-50? We hear some of the bad, now let's hear about all the good.
Right.
Instead, it's kind of it's out of balance. We hear all the bad and we hear very little of the good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to me, you know, we have to, you know, not allow all that negativity to kind of penetrate us and just put us in a state where we feel like there's nothing good going on. Everything is sad. Everything is depressing, you know. So that's why I say it's important to keep yourself positive and to keep yourself feeling some joy in your spirit, you know.
Yes.
And that's big. You know, and this is a test.
Joy and happiness is important.
Exactly. Those of us that are able to do that, as we come out of this, we're just going to be that much stronger. You know what I mean? We're just going to be that much stronger. You know, because we're going through something we've never experienced before, and here it is. We're battling to stay focused, to stay positive. You know what I mean? To stay on the right track. You know, to learn, to grow. We're not looking at it to just kind of fall apart until it ends, because there's no survival in that. You have to be positive. You got to go out there, just like when you have to go out. You put on your mask, you put on your gloves, and you say to yourself, I got to go to Costco, I got to go to the supermarket. I'm not going to worry about, you know, the fact that I'm not home right now. It's important that I do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to be fine. But if you go into like this panic thinking like, oh, you know, what if I go out and something bad happens? You can't go there, because at the end of the day, if you're running out of toilet paper, or you're running out of water, or you're running out of food, you know, what are you going to do? You have to go out there, you know, so you don't have a choice, especially those that are not living alone, and you have families that are consuming quite a bit of those food supplies while you're home. So you got to go pretty often. Like my trip to Costco yesterday was 2.5 hours, but I know I had to go because I look at the supplies of food and bread and eggs, and I'm like, okay, water. I'm like, okay, I gotta go, and I'm prepared. And I went. I took care of business and came home. Now the food is full. The fridge is full, and everybody has got plenty to eat, and I can be fully relaxed and at peace, knowing that I did what I had to do for my family, and I went out and I came home, and I'm fine, thank God.
And that's it. And so you have to put things in perspectives, because sometimes people tell me, don't go out. I'm like, what do you mean don't go out? I have to get groceries and bring in the house. So I go out all over the place, driving. No, I don't do that.
Exactly.
You know, like I said, I prepare myself mentally. I've got my little packet at the door that I know I got to take that. And you know, I got a message today about certain things you shouldn't do, and I'm already doing that. So I don't even take my phone now with me. I mean, I just take one and not the other, and I just keep it in the car, but I don't be looking at the phone and touching the phone, none of that stuff. So I wear my glasses, I put my mask on, and I have, as I said, my little care packet at the door. So I only take my ID and my card. That's it. I don't need a wallet or a handbag and all that stuff. I'm saying I don't need that. So I minimize what I'm taking with me, so then it doesn't become a big thing. Then I've got to be concerned about the bag. And no, just keep it very simple.
Right.
I take my list. There was recommendation, just take your shopping list. So this way I get what I want on the list and I'm out. Yeah. And then I throw away the list when I'm finished. That's it. And so just you have to prepare things very strategically, so that you don't get caught up in things like, oh my goodness, I did this, or I did that, or I should have done this. And there's even some stores I said, well, I'm not going back there. I think it's not good for me to go in that store anymore. Right. So I limit it to about 1 or 2 stores that I will go to. And it's, as I said, very strategically, twice a month. That's it.
Right.
And yes, and I just really just do that. Like today would have been the day, but I knew it wouldn't work out, so I'll go tomorrow. And so I'm already preparing my mind how I'm going to do that. So it's just get on with it. You have to get on with it. But you just have
Yeah,
to,
you can't live in fear, and you can't get to a point where you're just afraid of
no,
your own shadow. You can't do that, because to me, it's like if a person gets into a car accident, it's not something you want it to happen, but you can't tell yourself because it happened, I'm never going to drive again.
well,
You know what I
John,
mean?
you're talking about me. I had that experience, and I have to drive past that. And whenever well, I haven't since the lockdown, but whenever I would go anywhere, I have to drive past that place. I had a car accident, and I had to do it. I
Right.
have to drive.
There
There's
you
no
go.
way for me to get around but get in my car and drive. There's not even
Exactly.
taxis or all that stuff. I don't have access to that too
Right.
much. So I had to just, as you said, prepare my mind and get on with it.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
Exactly. I mean, in life, we face all kinds of challenges and fears, but we cannot let fear win.
No.
We cannot let fear win, because fear, it's poisonous. It's like a disease. Once you are afraid of certain things, before you know it, your fear starts to grow and grow, and before you know it, you're afraid of everything. You
And
know
then
what I
what
mean?
happens,
So
and then you won't be here anymore because it will make you sick. Either your
exactly,
mind or your
exactly,
body will become ill.
right.
And so I'm glad that you said that, Jean, because I stepped back from that, looking at all those things about, oh, every day I have to watch the news reel or what's been said today, and I just rewinded back from it, and I tell you, I began to feel better.
There
But
you
I
go.
was I was entrenching myself, drowning myself in all of it, and then I says, "Nah, sister, you can't do this anymore. You just need to get what you need to get, and that's it. Just the
Exactly.
information. I've got to wear masks. I've got to do this, whatever.
Yeah,
This is
that's
happening,
it.
so I need to know how to work myself away around what the new things are going to happen. Otherwise, the other stuff not important."
Correct. We focus on the essentials, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But in life, there's a difference between having precaution, in a situation that you must, versus having fear. There's
Mm-hmm.
a big difference.
Yeah.
So being cautious and taking all whatever measures necessary to protect yourself, that's one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But it cannot go to the other side where it becomes full blown fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't live on that. You know what I mean? You can't live on that. You just got to be in that positive mindset. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm going to be as cautious as I can be, and I
That's it.
expect to be fine. That's it.
And Jean, I hear the strength and the conviction in your voice, and we're all going through things where it can be challenging. Like you said, you had to do certain things. You have to go here and go there and do this. But at the end of the day, the strength is what gets us through all these things. And again, we're none of us perfect. We're all facing some kind of different challenge in our life, but it's finding that thing that makes us get through those challenges. And so I hear the strength. I hear the strength in your voice, but yet I know there are challenges. And it's important for me to say that because I don't want to make it seem like you're perfect, I'm perfect, we're doing
Not
whatever.
at all. Not far from it.
Right. But it's
Far
because I
from
see
it.
the strength. But so the strength, your faith, your strength is what's getting you through all of this. And I hear that.
Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
every day we have to work on it. It's not. I mean, I have, like everyone else, I have my moments. Sometimes, you might just get up, and then, let's say, something adds to what you're already dealing with, and you go into this mindset where now you're almost angry and you're upset, and you're like, you know what, I can't deal with one more negative thing, because I'm already overloaded with what's going on. And then now you start going into, like, you start seeing yourself moving in the wrong direction, where now you're like, okay, some money's got to be coming in. What if the next check doesn't come? And what if,
Right.
I can't do this? And all of a sudden now you're going into this panic. And now you're trying to keep yourself from doing that. Like the good word says, tomorrow is not promised to no one. We have to focus on each
We've seen
day,
that.
one at a time. And
We've seen that happen.
once you start getting ahead of yourself, and you start worrying about a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months, you can't go there. You got to deal with today and this moment that exists as of right now, and do the best you can to get through this moment and to
Yes.
keep your faith intact, and know that
Beautiful.
that you don't expect nothing but the best outcome until something proves different, and that's
Right.
it. And it's a battle to keep yourself into that positive mindset, but we
Hmm.
must fight for that.
Exactly. Exactly. Beautifully said. Any last words,
Thank you.
Jean? Because I think we can finish it up now. I think this is a very hearty, um, upbeat, realistic, honest, sincere conversation. And so, any last words you'd like to say to anybody who might be watching now or at a later time? Anything you'd like to personally share with them?
Well, again, I'm working on my online business, so anyone who's home and you find yourself not knowing how to take better care of yourself, you don't want to be like connected to your refrigerator and you find yourself overeating. So
Get
please
become
contact
bigger than
me
the
through
fridge,
my
right?
yes, be like Cicely and be proud and be able to say you lost weight during this situation and you feel your best. Exactly. So go to my Instagram page, Mr. Natural USA, or my Facebook, Naturally Fit. Please message me and let me know what your needs are, and we could get on a program and help optimize your fitness. And if you'd like to read a good book, my book is also available on Kindle. You can get The Art of the Rep available on Amazon, and keep yourself in a positive mindset. And we're going to get through this.
I love that. We are going to get through this. Thank you for sharing that
Amen.
very much so. That's very positive. We're going to get through this. We will.
Yes.
Come as a test for us to see the strength, our strength in regards to how we deal with it. And, but we will get through this. Yes.
Amen to
So,
that.
Jean, so I really appreciate you coming on. So don't go away because we're going to end up here. We're just going to end the live and do whatever. But we're going
Okay.
to. So, so John, thank you for joining us. Those who watched, and we'll be sharing it in social media. Jean will share it on his social media as well. And so, thank you for joining us and watching us and listening to this very honest and lively and hearty conversation with Jean and myself. And so, until next time, Global Conversations with Cicely G, GC with CG. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Let me end this now. Okay, all right, we're good. Let me stop this as well.